Put that in the car.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Did you consider having a bat? Daddy didn't have that trait.
You must have got that from Mummy's side. Plumbers, we're on.
Oh, jeez.
Very good. We're back together. Chomby's back after really dishing it up to 2 metre Petey.
Yes.
And here's the highlight. Let's not bury the lead. Drapey's back.
He's back.
Big, beautiful man.
Hello.
How are you going, son?
Oh, yeah, a bit better now. I've had some dark moments there last couple of weeks, but yeah, I'm okay.
Surgery. Let's start at the basics. So you've had the surgery. Mm-hmm. You're probably a week post. How did, just in a functional recovery sense, has everything gone well to this point?
Yep. 2 weeks today was the surgery, and it all went well. Yeah, it's been hard adjusting from being so active to just being on the couch and not being able to put any weight through my foot. And just, yeah, I was devastated when it happened. Like, yeah, I don't reckon I've cried that much in my life those first few days. And once the dust settled, I had the surgery, and yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. Yeah, but it's a weird one. I can't get stuck into my rehab yet. I've just got to let it heal, which is a weird feeling. But yeah, I'll be fine once I can get back into routine again.
That's pretty powerful. You are resilient and positive, and I've never seen you come in here dragging your feet. I know you've been through knee recos before. For you to be spending days crying, I'm tipping it wasn't the physical pain. Is it just the take us there? How bad were you feeling?
Yeah, it just didn't feel fair. Like, worked so hard all off season, get my body right, have a good preseason, come in the best form of my career, and have such high expectations for the year. It's my contract year. There's a lot of things, and then just gets taken from you like that, and just yeah, it's just a gutting feeling. And then seeing the team like needing me out there, and it's just like it's a hard one to take. And yeah, I've been rattling my brain thinking what could I have done differently or anything like that. But yeah, I think just being unlucky, and yeah, that's been the hard one to take. Yeah,
I might take you back to that night, Drapes. I think there was some footage of you at one of the breaks in play, hopping up and down on your calf. Did you feel anything before actually going out there and popping your Achilles?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that and clear the air. But no, it was actually my left calf was a little bit tight.
Yeah.
On that 3/4 time, but it felt fine. I was completely fine. Ran out that quarter and started the fourth quarter okay, and then bang, I just went to take off just like I do hundreds and hundreds of times in a game, and just decided my Achilles to pop at that time. And yeah, that's the thing I've been thinking about. Yeah, what could I have done differently? Was I sore? But I think it's just completely out of my control, that one. And I was absolutely adamant that someone had stepped on the back of my Achilles. Like, it felt like stud marks down the back of my ankle as I took off. And I was like, who the fuck has done that? And then like, I'm telling the physios this, telling the doctors that, and then as I got down to the rooms, it was kind of dawning on me. I was like, oh no, I bet no one was there, because I hadn't seen the footage yet. And then someone showed me the footage in the rooms, and there was no one to be seen. And I was like, oh no, I just knew straight away.
Is it painful injury to do?
Yeah, it was like, very, very sore, that immediate when it happened. And then as I was trying to walk on it, it was sore. But then once I got off the ground, I was fine. And then it was fine once I was in the moon boot. Everything didn't hurt at all. And but I knew I'd done it straight away. It was pretty much, the scans were, I knew what I'd done.
So you, heart on heart, there wasn't, footballers playing the way you play, right? You're going to get sore sometimes, and you can't come off and put yourself on ice every time, right? You get a little tight calf or a tight quad or whatever. Otherwise, you'd never play a full game. There was no warning? You weren't a little bit touchy there? You weren't a bit sore? It just exploded?
No, feeling fine. Like, nothing out of the ordinary. Do you feel 5 games into a season? Like, so yeah, that's the thing I've been thinking about. Like, could I have done anything differently or anything like that? But no, I think it's just like, and then speaking to the surgeon as well, like, it's either someone that comes back to sport, hasn't played sport in a while, and it will just go, or it just be someone that doing the same movement over and over again, and just that one time it decides to go. So, it was, I just was so rattled just thinking. I was so adamant that someone like stepped on me, and there was just no one there. So it was a very weird feeling.
Who have you lent on? Your old man, I'm sure, or your family, your brothers?
Yeah.
How have you dug yourself out of the initial hole you were in?
Yeah, well, so because Anzac Day was the following week, all my family come for that trip anyway. So it was nice to be able to see them and try to take my mind off a bit. And my girlfriend's been amazing, looking after me, I've been pretty down bad at the moment. I've got like a shower seat, like a toilet seat, and I've been in some vulnerable positions, but my girlfriend's looked after me well, which is good. And then just trying to keep busy, just seeing friends, and it's like I said, it's a weird feeling. I can't really do anything for it yet, so it's like I just want to get stuck into my rehab. But I'll be able to get into that soon.
Is he like cleaning the royal penis? The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
No.
You seen that in Coming to America? No, like having to scrub under your scrot?
No, luckily I can do that for me. But
that's a shame.
Yeah, I've just been in some very vulnerable positions, and she's looked after me, and I've been very, very needy as well, and a bit sooky. But lucky she's a nurse, so she knows what she's doing. But yeah, so I can get out. I get the moon boot on tomorrow. I'm out of this cast. It's starting to stink, which is good. And then I can gradually put more weight through my leg from next week, which is good because crutching around is just a disaster.
Yeah, you're getting triceps, tricep heaven. Yeah. Great for the tries.
Very good.
You're gonna have some time off now as well. You're gonna fill it with anything.
Mount Buller.
Lots of people that get injuries, they always talk about, I'm going to do this for study. I'm going to actually fill your time. I don't think they realise how much rehab actually takes up. Have you got anything planned?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny. This year I had a few things in mind about people I want to catch up with for things off field, but I kind of put them to the side a bit because I was just going all in on my footy because it was a big year for me. So I just kind of went all in. So that's been a bit of a big change now that I'm not all in at the moment. I can look at other things. So yeah, just catching up with people like in Essendon's network and people I've met along the way that in different areas, and just trying to do a few things like that. But the first few weeks of the rehab are pretty like low key, so I've got a bit more time now. So yeah, I'll get stuck into a few things.
Are you looking
bit of hep?
Yeah, I saw Hep the other day.
Cherry, that's cherry.
That's cherry.
Are you looking business-wise? Is that what you're thinking of doing?
I think so, yeah. But I don't know what yet. So I know I want to do something along those lines, but just absolutely no idea. Yeah. Maybe we can spend a day with you.
I would like that.
Get
Maybe
productive.
you could, like, well done as well on the doorstop you gave in the 200 plus hat.
Oh, that was brilliant.
We love Kate Mass.
Yeah.
By the way, if I'm going to give my man to anyone to doorstop, because I wasn't going to get in your grill. You know, there's just a time where that is not my play.
Yeah, you'd
But
rather.
she is a ripper, and she's a good doorstopper, and she has empathy. And that was a bloody nice interview.
Yeah.
I could tell how chatted you.
No,
You did really well.
I respect her for that because she gave me the option to keep walking. She said, like, she understands I was devastated, and she said, you don't have to. And I really appreciated that. So gave her some time and gave her, a good interview, I reckon.
Nick, maybe you can take some lessons after last week's disaster with Bull and Nank.
Yeah, but I said that.
No, you didn't.
I said, hey,
you
Nate, quick one.
shoved the microphone in their face.
Who is
Nate,
giving you
quick
that
one.
bullshit?
You, mate. You text
no.
me and you said,
Quick one, Nank.
Yeah,
That's what I always say, quick one.
Would you like to keep walking? That's, come on, Nate, quick interview. And he gave the cold shoulder and walked off.
No. What happened was, Nank said, "G'day, big fella, how are you?" Like we did it. It was actually a really nice American handshake. Like nailed it.
Wouldn't it be?
Mate, it was.
That's your
And by the
first
way, I
line.
can talk about that because I did a beauty with Dipper as well, like the real Dipper. And that undid about 10 years of shit handshakes. But so I've nailed it. And he said, "G'day." And I'm like, "Mate, yeah, we're shooting the shit." I said, "Hey, mate, can I just get a quick one on the fucking camera?" And he's like, no, shit, no. And walked. And then your mate Bull
He
gave
you
me
nothing. Yeah, he's not a fan of you.
Why?
No,
Isn't he?
He is. He probably is. He's not a doorstopper.
Anyway, the way Drapesy did it is a lesson to all. In fact, I'm going to put that in my doorstop help kit because I'm the AFL accredited media trainer, and it is something that players. Would you agree with me? Right? You can laugh. It's a skill in a way. It's just something you don't need to be stressing about in your career. Okay, if you've got shit going on at your club, you don't want to be pissing your pants that there might be a journo there that might doorstop you. Like, correct me if I'm being a fuckwit, but is it something that clubs maybe should be just au fait with? Hey, are you okay in case you get doorstopped? Having some confidence and techniques? Because I am the man ticked off to provide them for a fee.
Yeah, I think the clubs could probably do better and just say, maybe there might be someone there for you, so get ready for that. Do they do that at North?
Ours are awesome, yeah. Anytime there's any media at the front, they'll send out a teamworks message and be like...
Have they ever been on television, though? Do they know how it works?
The media people? I'm sure they probably have at some point, but they send out a memo and they go, this person's out the front. It'll either be, if it's a sensitive issue, it'll be say hello, politely decline, comment and come inside, or it'll be... we'll send someone out to go answer questions. So
There you go.
I'm not sure if they've been on TV though.
Well, Heathy O'Loughlin had been.
Yeah,
he was very good, Heathy.
He was good, Heathy. Yeah.
Stace very good. Now, I'm not potting your media department, but sometimes it's a bit like being out there in the G, and not
Man in the arena,
not the
butts.
state league, the real game. Okay, Big Butt's been in the real game.
Have you been doorstop before?
Door stopped. Well, I've been the door stopper many times.
When was the last time you did
door
media
stopped.
training as well?
As far as AFL media training, I haven't done any this year. A lot of those budgets got cut.
Yeah.
But I've been doing a
Likely
lot of
stories.
a lot of corporates, some cricketers,
Justin Toyota.
a couple of A-League teams. Anyway, just DM me if you want a bit of media training because it's very important for you corporate people up there. And it makes me, thank you for the little segue there. End of financial year, there's a lot of companies with a few dollars to spend. If you want to buy a new car, get up to Mansfield Mazda because there's great end of financial year deals.
That is shameful.
DM me if you want to buy a car. Don't go anywhere else, okay? Because it is the time you write it off, Moff.
That's shameful.
You want to buy your car before June 30, you can write it off on tax.
If you're going to do an ad,
Me,
did you
just
see what I
DM
did?
me.
Moff, big
Yeah,
tax
nice
guy.
ad.
Yeah.
It was professional ad. I had it professionally filmed. I had a cinematic camera.
Yes, right. That was a nice ad.
Can't
Nice
really
ad.
Very good.
That's how you do an ad, Butts.
Hey, no, sometimes
No,
you've just got to
prefers the
remind
0.5
people
camera.
because
Dead
that
screen.
hey,
Dead
the
screen.
screen.
Yeah, 0.5.
straight down the screen. Sometimes you've got to remind people that, hey, there's the best option for your new car is getting up there to Mansfield Mazda. Because while you were playing and really dishing it up to 2 metre Peter, we had a live show, Moff.
Yeah, we did.
Didn't
How did
we?
that
I was
go?
mixing with the Plumbers.
How was it?
Smoking the old durries again. Holy shit.
How your lungs?
I've got no good because I don't do a lot of cardio these days, but it's a weakness of mine that, if a plumber sort of offers you one, I've just got to get better at that.
I just say no.
You just say no, yeah. Anyway, it was great, Moff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a
It
good
was
night.
a small but committed crew.
Intimate. It was
Intimate.
good.
Talk us through it.
Well, we were at the St Andrews Brewery there, and it was a watch-along party. You would have seen my corn-style walk-along, which was got
I actually haven't.
wide
Did you do a
acclaim.
walk and
I
talk?
decided to do a walk and talk on the way to the brewery because we were told that there was still a ticket or two available.
Yeah.
And look, we didn't off the bat, Moff. Having it on Thursday night was a bit rough because a lot of plumbers are involved with local footy.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
can't be at a watch along when you're
Yeah.
at team selection. So it was always going to be a bit of a boutique influencer style occasion. But the plumbers we got were great plumbers. Okay, so tell me if this sounds like a good night to you. So we obviously had a bit of a fill of the
Yep.
nice lagers there. We sketched up a 30-1 multi that everyone got on.
Yep.
Gamble responsibly. You win some, you lose more, but sometimes you win. So we rode that out. I'll come to that later because we got really fucking close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agonising.
Langers' dribbler. Put it this way, we needed Langers to kick 2 and late in the piece. This is for a 30-1er. He's dribbled
that
one that
dribble.
was in and then came
I
back
had front
out.
row seats to that.
That's all.
Jesus. That and maybe Rish and Rath McGrath needed
Yeah.
20. He got 18. But it was on. And it was about a 20-legger. Okay, so everyone's riding that. That was cool. We passed the mic round and everyone had to go at ball by ball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
that
there
guy.
was some weird shit going on there, but it was actually quite good.
Yeah.
So there was prizes for ball by ball, bit of trivia. I had to sing the Chook song and completely butchered it. I was just a bit off there. I didn't hit any notes. It's quite bad. But I thought I was in reasonable form off.
No, you were very good.
How was the watch long party going when I didn't touch the ball until 5 minutes
I
ago?
was
on the
supposed to
second?
skull every time you took a mark.
Yeah.
And we had to just can it midway and say, look, go get your beers.
I haven't taken a mark for 2 weeks.
We did skull it once.
Yeah.
I think.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
You took one it was supposed to be an
Intercept.
intercept, but it was just a mark.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
chest
yeah,
mark.
I've been playing more like a lockdown.
Yes.
Did you skull, did you skull
Probably
for a
not.
switch kick?
Probably
We
not.
sculled for a switch kick chest mark, yes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But all in all, Moff, Benny, were you there? No. Yes, you were.
He was there.
You rode the multi with me. What did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good night. Yeah, intimate, but and I had to ask Moff the next day. I was like, me and Butsy shared a multi. I was like, he didn't cash out, did he?
Nah, I was with a company that didn't offer the cash out because we would have got a reasonable
No, yeah.
lick.
Would you have let me know if you?
Of
cashed
course,
out?
Benny, I would have. It was good. So now some lads came up from the peninsula. This is one to throw at my learned colleagues here that I use as mentors. So they've offered me a gig, right? An end of financial year gig. These tradies reckon the cash is heavy at the end of financial year, they're getting on a party bus to celebrate a dude's 22nd birthday. And they've said, could you come host it? And it's going to 3 different venues, and they just want a bit of sort of hilarity and some sort of entertainment. I have no idea what they've got in store. I just feel a little bit that it's going down Warwick Kappa areas. And sometimes you've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. I'm not exactly sure what sort of fold them is involved, but I said put it in writing. What are our thoughts? Should I Teddy Roosevelt, like man in the arena, have a go? Drapesy? If you were my manager? Or has this got alarm bells all over it?
Could be a trap. Not from anything the boys
trap.
would do, but like what could go on at
On
a
the bus.
22nd
You
birthday.
might get carried away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your frontal lobe will go
Might
ding,
go
ding,
right
ding.
off.
Yeah. And you'll forget you're the host. And you think you're just invited.
What if I took a chaperone and cut you off a bit of the money? And then I've got a minder, like at the footy trip where the club sends a minder.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
we need
if
it.
the fold is big enough.
It'd be fun. But I might get carried away.
I'd tick you off, but there's some boundaries, parameters I think you got to put in place for home times.
Yeah. It's interesting. But you just never know what opportunities are going to come your way.
Listen to the offer.
Well, I will.
Yeah.
I said put it in writing.
We also had guys and girls at the 200 plus
Yeah,
live.
the girls were in great form.
And they knew everything about it as well.
Who was the
great.
North supporter? What was her name? She was lovely.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Oh,
Starts with
God.
H.
She was a ripper, and she was the one that demanded ball by ball. Like, I was so excited to have a night off calling the footy because I was working Saturday, Sunday for 10. I actually just had a free weekend for once. Well, I was working, not having to prep for the footy, you know what I mean? And I guess a bit like you boys, I was kind of enjoying just decompressing. And this lovely girl was like, oh, I've come here for ball by ball. I want ball by ball. And I was trying to just weasel out of it. I'm like, oh, look, if North come back and they get within 5 points, I'll ball by ball. And I was like cheering for the Bombers. Like, can't be fucked. But they
cool to
did.
do that.
And we had to do a bit of ball by ball.
It was good. And Benno was there as well.
Yeah, big Benno.
Yeah.
And his housemate, which was good.
Yep.
But yeah, what else has happened? What about the corn? Do we want to move on to the
Well,
corn?
good hosting, Moff. Yes.
corn.
Corn. Let's talk
What's-
about corn.
What's he been up to? Keeping a low profile?
Yeah, what's happening with Corn filming in?
Well, corn. Well, you've banned corn. Corn went very hard on our boy Harry. Well, we don't need to fool. Everyone knows. Unless you've been down a hole. He said that Harry's been stat padding. He gets sheezy ball, which is a negative sort of connotation to make.
Yeah.
The club's come out and said it was personal. You've crossed the line. It wasn't just that. He's been having a bit of a go at Jai too. And have banned the corn. If, as the AFL accredited media trainer, I wouldn't have given this advice, okay? I'm going to say I was a touch disappointed in your footy club for this. I reckon there would have been a more staunch way to handle it. This is just my opinion.
Yeah, what do you suggest
I'm
instead?
suggesting that the wee man gives Corn a ring and says, hey, okay, you've got a role to play, I understand, and you're getting paid by Channel 7 and SEN to get cut through and get debate going for fans. That is your role.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think you've crossed the line a couple of times, right? And man to man is a bit of an 80s word, but sort it out eye to
I think
eye.
Kane used that term as well, actually. Kane used that term in one of his media outlets. I think he said what you just said. He would have preferred that, and they had the man-to-man chat. It would be a quote I think he used.
Yeah. The other, I guess it might be, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's gone a little bit above. I mean, he has been having to go at your president as well.
Yeah, I think it's been
a bit of a
while.
so maybe it's been a whole club thing, but I guess the question is to you, what did you think about it? I know you have to toe a club line here, and I'm not trying to get you in trouble. What did you think about it?
Well,
It's not an easy one to answer.
I've always been a Kane fan. I think he's been on record saying I'm one of the only fans of his in the AFL, along with Jack Silvani. I did think he crossed the line a little bit with the Jai and Shee's comments, and the club's stance it's been going on for a while, and it's felt targeted and personal. And the club wanted to make a public stance on this, that we're not going to cop shit from anyone, which is why they went public with the ban per se. Which I can agree with. We're a smaller club in the AFL, so it's easy to kind of target us as a club, and we haven't been playing good footy for 5 years. So I understand criticism is going to come. It's warranted. We haven't played good footy, so criticise our footy all you like. But I feel that personal criticism to the point where it steps over that line probably isn't.
Which bit was over the line?
Acceptable.
Was it the?
Just the,
can I say I didn't like the Sheezy nickname.
I didn't like the branding of it.
What do you mean?
The branding of Sheezy Ball.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that either because that stuff sticks.
Yeah.
Right, and I just think this kid is going to be a star. Does everything right. He's had maybe 2 or 3 quieter games for him. He's still getting a heap of the ball, by the way, but I just didn't like attaching that name to a 21-year-old.
Yeah, I was a bit uncomfortable with
I would have preferred Clarkson ring up and say, mate, you've been a player. You've been like what Stevie Johnson did. Hey, remember how much that used to knock you round? Maybe you could meet with Harry and have a chat to him about it rather than sort of going for clicks.
Yeah.
No? Am I like in dreamland?
I'm in support of the club's stance on the issue and how they've handled it. I think creating a stand is a strong position from the footy club, and I'm in full support of that.
Does that mean you can't be criticised? So if someone thinks Nick Larkey should be playing better,
not
if
at
they
all.
attach a nickname to it,
I think
what about
was
the
just,
next bloke?
I think it was just the way it was handled and repeated criticism of certain players and officials at the footy club. And I think officials at the footy club have said enough's enough.
Okay. Is it an ongoing ban or is it lifted this week?
I'm not sure. You have to ask the club.
Were you guys like briefed on it? Or did you find out in the media?
No, I found out when Todd went to the press conference with it. But yeah, it was spoken about, of course.
Fair enough. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Chom summed it up pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can take the club out of it, but this could happen to your club.
Yeah.
Kane, to be honest, it's kind of hasn't hindered Kane. So he might do it again. He might want to double down.
Yeah. I think like it's the same with him and other journalists and stuff. Like we need voices in our game, and some you're not going to agree with and some that you will. And I think you just got to try and look past that and not take it on board. But it'd be pretty hard if it was
Is it the name?
For him?
Yeah, is it the nickname that's got you, the negative,
yeah, maybe.
the Sheezy Ball? Is that the one that you'd...
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you would have had criticism.
Yeah, it's probably not something you want attached to a made-up nickname in the media. Yeah, probably not.
That might be the one.
Yeah.
The other one, and this is coming from someone that, if I'd said it, no one would have given a fuck, right? Because I'd say, mate, we've heard about your shit 43 state league games. You've never even been there. It's an easy knock. If Mark Stevens had said it, if Jay Clark had said it, footy clubs are really good at saying, you wouldn't know, mate. And sometimes I reckon that's a bit overdone. Because there's no difference between, in a lot of ways, no difference between a 50-game AFL player and someone that was a very good at lower levels, okay? And in your understanding and abilities, and that's shown because some of those guys go on to be assistant coaches. So it's the fact it's a 300-gamer who has been there, I think sort of cuts a bit deeper. Is that fair? It's easier to dismiss?
Probably the fact he's well respected in the media for the work and the effort and time, and I think no one questions his work ethic as well. It's unbelievable. So I think that plays a role in as well. He's a very prominent media figure. He'd be the most well-known footy media figure in the last 2 years, I'd say. So yeah, probably plays a part.
Interesting. Righto. How's Harry?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
He's a good lad. Yeah. Quickly, Roos were really good. I'm sorry to celebrate the fact you just went down, but you copped a fair bit. You were good against Port,
yeah,
and then you've sort of for 2 weeks in a row, you're bloody stiff in the end.
It's our first quarter's going to let us down. We let Essendon switch the ball too well early, and they were able to come through the middle. I think they had 4 scores from coming through the middle in the first quarter of the ground, which is impossible to defend. So, but yeah, I'm really proud of the boys' fight back. I'm proud how we played in those second, especially third quarters. But yeah, bitterly disappointed we couldn't win because in the end it was probably our game to win. We had the momentum, especially coming into that last quarter. So yeah, disappointing result again. That's 2 weeks in a row where we've been in games at the end and haven't been able to capitalise and win them. So, but nonetheless, it's encouraging signs to be in those games to where we were 3 weeks ago when we were getting blown out after 3/4 time, being close. So step forward, but yeah, it's not where we want to be at all.
Fair enough. You went camping. You did.
Yeah, I did.
Can I just quickly say, actually, before we get to camping, I've got a bit of beef with you. I gave you a call on Saturday night and said, you want to have a couple of beers?
Nah, Friday night.
Nah.
It was Friday night.
But I said tomorrow night.
Yeah, okay.
I want to go have some beers and completely brushed.
Yeah, sorry.
For a man who's on the border of having some sort of midlife crisis, like I don't know if I'm fucking old or young. I still get a lot of stiffies and I think about sex a lot and I really long to be out having beers and like just doing young shit. Occasionally when you put yourself out there like that and you get completely fresh air, it's hurtful.
Yeah.
And I was hurt.
Well, as you said, I went camping Friday night. So I went to the prom. I did a 12K in and out hike to Little Waterloo Bay.
With who?
One of my good schoolmates, Mike Jones.
Cute.
So with Mike, and yeah, it was awesome. Backpacked in, camped, had pretty much the whole campsite to ourselves, the beach to ourselves, great weather. But yeah, one of the things about the prom is you don't have reception, so I didn't get your call.
Oh.
I did actually see it on the way back to Melbourne. I forgot to call back. Sorry.
It's all right. I got over it. It's
Did you go in for a beer on
Drapesy
Saturday?
wouldn't do that for me. You know what? This is really fucking sad.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I didn't call the footy on the weekend, so I finished my day at Channel 10 and was clear.
Yeah.
I just had to bowl into 10 the next day on Sunday. I can do that hungover. And I'm like, even Mel goes, you've been going pretty hard. You know, you deserve a blowout. I said, blowout sounds good. And I was really keen to go to Geelong, Collingwood,
Yeah.
mainly just to drink piss.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just get out and about and
the
sniff a
town.
bit of hair.
Go to the Arcadia.
Flex a bit of muscle. Yeah. And
Tanny good, Bill.
that's exactly right. And I put out about 4 calls. You weren't one, but you were up there. And another bloke couldn't get a babysitter, and you just fucking doing bloody Brokeback Mountain. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I would like to do that too. And no one got back to me, so I ended up going home. I didn't go out. I can't go out by myself. That might tip a 42-year-old about to have a crisis over the
You
edge.
can never go out by yourself. Although Matt Hill did say he likes to go enjoy a drink by himself after the commentary.
Well, he won't be doing that anymore because
Yeah,
we'll
you'll
be
be-
going with him.
Yeah, we will be. We went for dinner with Matt after the pod last week. We went to Grilled. We were trying to get a pub, but nothing was open because I wanted to see him down a few Coke and, and whiskies. But we ended up settling at Grilled, and geez, he has some good stories off pod. The Sean Connery story is brilliant.
He did, yes.
That will go down in the history
Hilly
books.
After Dark. I don't know if we can do something for the Patreon, but his lip. You know when some guys, when they're telling a funny story, their lip starts to
to
kind of doesn't tremble. It reverse trembles. It's curls.
Yeah, because he knows
the
he's
good
about to
bits
drop the
coming.
punchline.
When Hilly was telling just highly entertaining, slightly rude stories, his lip
was
curl.
starting to go. That was actually a highlight of probably my year. Going for dinner with Hilly, it was so cool.
Will you exchange numbers?
Yeah, you were a bit fun on that, weren't you?
Well, I think I've already got it. Yeah, but yeah, I was a bit. I was going to Hilly, just make sure I'm in the contact set.
Oh, I actually haven't had a text from Hilly.
Because next time you play a Sunday game and you've got a 7-day break and you're entitled to go have a couple, I think we need to go out with Hilly.
We need to go have a beer with Hilly. Something else that you want to talk about as well. It's been coming up on my Instagram feed at the moment is, hate to give it air, but Max 1v1s have been coming up on my Instagram.
Fuck.
What do we think, lads? What do we think of the 1v1s?
I don't mind what the kid's doing. You know what I mean? It's like looking at the sun. Every time he puts one up, I do watch it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Kind of hoping that he gets smashed.
beat. Yeah.
But then today I found myself coaching him going, man, when you get big at the ball, you actually look quite dangerous. Like, use that leap. What's he wrestling for? He looks like a
He's trying to
bloody
wrestle with
garden
Flanners
rake. Like, Flanners is a big boy. You should be trying to sit on Flanners'
He does
head.
look good when he jumps up and,
Man, he
takes
does.
a
He
juke.
gets good at vert.
But I didn't come here to glaze Mac all the videos. I actually come here to put a proposition out. And there's obviously been a little bit of beef with 200 plus and Footy and Friends for a while now. And I'd love to see the battle of the producers. I'd love to see Moff take Mac to the square, 1v1 him.
God.
I want a best of 5. Best of 3 is not good. It only takes one mistake and you're done. I want a best of 5, Mac v Moff out of the square. We'll come down and watch. Maybe we can do it before a record next week. I'm sure you'll still be going by next week on Wednesday, so we can do it. We can do it.
Got plenty of time, don't worry.
Plenty of time. I think a few weeks this one, but I'd love to see it. Muff, what do you reckon?
Well, I haven't laced the boots up in 5 years.
Oh, he's getting the excuse
So,
already.
this is
no,
but
hang on.
I've been asked, I've been approached, and I said I won't do it because I can already see where it's going to head, and the public shaming when I lose.
Nah, man, in the arena.
Moff.
I need some coaching if it's going to happen.
Yeah,
You need a neutral ball kicker for
Saying
starters.
that, you play hoops, right?
Yeah. Oh, the ability
And
is somewhere.
I'm the only one that's in a position to just like know what you bring to the table because we've banged a bit of body.
Yeah.
We banged.
Actually, that's true.
The
yeah.
time we and I enjoyed the
we
banging.
gave the goal kicking.
yeah, when we did
Dim.
big dim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I banged with Moff.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
And he's all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst bang I've ever had.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling I'd do it myself if I didn't have a fuck shoulder.
Okay, so you're not doing
I
it.
honestly have a fuck shoulder, and I'm not wrestling him one-handed. And in the off chance that he just got fucking lucky, I don't think I could live with myself. I would have to leave the pod.
You've got everything
Okay?
to lose by doing that.
Yeah.
Benny's represented us and won.
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah, Benny did quite well.
I am willing to sacrifice the shoulder a bit to train you. These boys
Yeah.
can't do it.
I
I'm
need to be
happy to
trained.
bang even the other side, and I
Well,
can go a bit one-handed.
We got
to get you
AFL
in.
Clubby on Wednesday nights,
Yeah.
so it's probably a good
Good
time to come
opportunity
down,
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do it, but also like if I can do a session, get
No,
get
you're
my
not doing
touch.
it. You're not raw dogging straight into it.
No,
We
do
need
a
to-
post session.
Yeah,
We
do a
need to-
session.
Post session.
All right, lock
We'll
that
be
in.
warm.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, the first AFL Clubby. You're
That's
gonna have a
tomorrow.
kick.
That's tomorrow. We'll do it next week.
Okay, we'll do it
I'm
next
away.
week. Second AFL
Okay,
Clubby.
the third
Third
week.
one.
They'll still
Third
be
one.
going
He'll
by
still
then.
be going.
That'll be good.
He won't win 3 in a row by then. Don't worry.
Be going for a
I'm just
while.
trying to
I'm
think
nervous.
what. All right, he's
Yeah.
lanky, and I think he's a little bit mad. So, but he's got fuck all body strength. You're like quite athletic and strong. I think you've got him for strength. I don't know who's got a better leap. I'm thinking you might have to do your body work early and just
yeah.
buffet him off.
Yeah.
Are we right
Yeah,
with
I'm,
that?
so.
I'm agreeing with that. I
Yeah.
don't think it'd
Use
take
your
much to
hip.
push me out of the way. So use your
Okay.
strength.
No, I'm keen to get a bit of training under my belt.
Don't give up once the ball hits the deck.
Yeah.
You gotta fight.
Go
Like your
hard.
life depends
Yeah.
on it.
Definitely.
Yeah, the
Yep, knee
deck's
up, follow up.
interesting.
Now,
Yeah, I don't really get the
wouldn't
rules.
have signed up for the deck bit.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
should
like,
just
I
be
don't
aerial.
like that. It
should just
pure
be mark.
aerial.
Yeah.
Jack Cale back in the day it would be like 10 balls. Whoever takes the most marks gets selected.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's interesting.
That's back in the day,
you
man.
love that?
I love that.
I'm sure you bring that back to normal.
Jack Cale. Yeah, bring it back to. I'll tell you what, Finbar would get a game every week.
Yeah, he's
Can we just
good.
quickly talk about Finbar?
Clunkiest man.
Moose.
Mate,
Yeah.
how much love did the Moose get?
Moose got a lot, yeah.
Especially when he was in our multi too, especially when he banged the first one around
Oh,
the
that
corner.
was awesome.
Oh, that's
yeah,
sick.
that was so cool.
Can we get to the bottom of what happened with the other one? Did he have a mild anxiety attack? Did he only get 24 seconds?
He's a bit airy-fairy, the Moose. I don't know. I thought the ruling.
I thought he was a bit stiff.
I thought the ruling was you had to start your run up within the 30 seconds. I actually haven't watched it back. I'm not sure if he has or not, but I would like to think that he did get to start that. But it happens.
Isn't it 25 now?
Could be. I'm
think-
actually unsure on the
I
ruling.
think it is 25 now.
Yeah, okay. It was definitely over that.
And I saw someone timed it on TikTok. It was like 36 seconds. Like he took a long time.
yeah, the Moose is really into his meditation, mindfulness, and breathing. So
he was really breathing.
we've been having a bit of a joke that he was doing Wim Hof at the, at the top of the mark. He took a bit too long.
Yeah.
A bit too calm, the Moose.
I actually think I could help the Moose. Who's helping him with the goal kicking?
Tommy Lynch.
Oh, that's okay. No, Tommy's pretty good.
Tommy, very good.
Because didn't he kick
Nick Barlow, very good as well.
1-7 or something the week before in the VFL?
Nah, there's mate on that.
A bit of mayo. Because I'll tell you what he can
His,
play.
his kicking's got a lot better.
Yeah. We just need to get him being a like 7 out of 10 shot from 30 metres. Don't worry about the big ones.
He come in as a he's actually a better kicker over long distance.
That's off and away.
He come into the system as a Cat B rookie from basketball, so he hasn't had a lot of football practice. I think he was playing in the second league for Eltham before he got drafted. So
Yeah,
like
Div
he's
2.
raw talent, and from where he's come, is incredible. He's debuted and held up, and he's as I said, I say it all the time, he's got the best hands I've ever seen or played with.
Yeah, I'm seeing enough. He's got to stay on your list.
Yeah, he will. He's just got.
Fans cop the kicking, all right? Occasionally he's just going to kick a fucking howler.
They just
Who cares?
gave him.
He's gonna
They gave him a
juke.
contract extension last week, I think. So
We should get him on.
awesome.
Is he hung like a rogue elephant?
Oh, he'd be great to get on. He is a fair sausage. It's
He
a-
does have a good sausage.
Bratwurst, supposed to Polish, but it's decent.
Like a thick.
It's sausage size. It's good sausage.
How are we going here, Moff?
Fantastic. That sounds very good.
One I've got on here.
Yeah, go.
on the off the run sheet. It's from your little spot. It's
Yep.
Roccioli. Got
Oh,
him on the
Roccioli.
last. Roccioli. He's a North supporter, so that really caught my eye. Corey.
Remember we got
Is
him
that
on?
Italian brain rot?
No. This is very good from you, Drapesy. Remember
The
the
big
early
fella.
days?
The big boy.
The big boy. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
200-pluser
yeah.
from down in Tassie.
I don't think it's the one you're thinking of, John.
Oh, is he different?
Yeah.
No,
Who are you
he's a
thinking?
member of
I
Parliament.
was thinking of the WA off spinner.
Corey Roccaccioli. He's good. He's a plumber.
Yeah, and
He
he's a
listens to the
North.
show.
He's a North fan.
So who's
You're
this
an
guy?
idiot.
Who's this?
How are we
Who's
going
this?
him off?
Who's
This
this?
is a man, okay?
What's
Back in
his
the
name,
early
though?
days of 200 plus, we need to look it
I
up.
remember him. Yeah.
So he is a mammoth man who put his hand up to be a member of Parliament. And this show was still finding itself at this stage. So we thought there's a 200 pluser who's a chance to get voted in for the election
We had
3
a
years
member of
ago.
Parliament on this show 3
And
years ago.
We not only did we call him, we and he sprayed us. Remember that? So we got him on, and he thought it was pre-recorded. No, he thought it was live. And midway, he started fumbling a bit and goes, "This is live!" and started yelling at us. And we just had to tell him to chill, cool these jets. I'm sure we can find the audio. Anyway, he got in again.
He got in.
Yes,
What party is he with?
he's ALP.
Okay.
Pretty sure, down in Tassie. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about that, but it goes to show that there's been another election come and go in the time we've been making this wonderful production. Just on that, I ventured into a bit of Laurie Oaks territory on the recovery moff, and shit, it stirred the pot a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
What's happened?
I reckon we got the most comments on Spotify on that episode than any other episode.
But started talking politics.
There was 15.
Political.
We're political.
Butts gave his thoughts on Albanese.
I did. Not a big fan.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
let's not go
And as I
political.
said, you can discredit to everyone that had a go at me. And they weren't, I wouldn't even say it's have a go. They weren't vitriolic. They were just a few people disagreed with what I said. My main beef is that, the handouts, working people have to pay for them. Okay, and I just say, you are entitled to vote for what's best for your family. I mean, how are we going here?
How are we going?
Look,
I
another
like this.
time.
I like
Drapes
it.
is interested.
I need to get educated.
Yeah, I'll educate you.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
I need to tell you something. I'm going to do a tell me something, okay? I've got show and tell today about and tell me something because tonight I'm going to try to bugger off 10 minutes early because I'm having a Port Adelaide Magpies reunion with 5 blokes that live over here. We plan to have a steak 2 days before the first lockdown in 2020. And obviously, like everyone else, our steak got scuppered. Boys like, we haven't seen each other for a while. Let's have a steak and red, talk a bit of shit, check in on your families, remember the good old days and add a bit of mayo on the footballer you were. And I said, that fucking sounds fantastic, right? And obviously we got locked down. It never happened. Then people have babies and people move away and jobs and whatever. We have not had this steak in 5 years. Tonight is the night. So I'm catching up with 4 of my old teammates. Tony Brown, who's the head of development at St Kilda. Captain Tony Brown, McGarry Medalist, who's a ripper. Jimmy Micklejohn, 200 pluser. Daniel Elstone, first round draft pick. And Chatty Davis, who got his scrotum bitten by Peter Philandia in 2001. So it's an eclectic crew of legends. They're ordering my steak. I'm going to be slightly late, but I'm very keen.
Is that?
What?
In your hand.
A boogie? Or?
No,
This.
yeah.
This. So show and tell.
Do I play the sting?
Play the sting moth. Tell me something, boys. Something I haven't heard before. Great sting. Did that live at the live show. Okay, tell me something. I've brought in the Port Adelaide artefact that is most precious to me. It is a Port Adelaide league towel. When you played a league game 20 years ago, you got to go in the league rooms. You got your name on a league locker, and they gave you a towel.
A crusty white towel.
White Port Adelaide Magpies towel.
Very
and I'm not
crusty
towel. What is the word for when you need lucky shit in your
You
bag?
need a towel badly.
Superstitious.
Okay,
Good on
that.
you, Drapesy. I'm not very superstitious. I can wear different jocks every game and don't have a set routine, but this towel goes with me everywhere.
That's such a lie.
It does.
No, your
what?
routines. You have superstitions when you play.
Not really. I didn't.
Listen to sad songs when you go out.
Yeah, but they were different
vomit
sets
in the
every
car.
week.
Yeah, what did
Would
you
vomit.
eat? What did you eat the night before?
Steak and chips.
Yeah.
And a McFlurry to put on a bit of extra weight for the cage. Anyway, I digress.
Apart
This
from those.
towel is
that.
fantastic. Port Adelaide Mag. It'll go with me everywhere. I'm hoping Ted's a reasonable footballer. I'm going to hand this crusty little crustacean down to him. And it made me think, Moff, that the 200 plumbers need towels.
Yeah.
Benny, you're going to play a bit of footy for St Mary's this year. Do you have a lucky towel?
I don't, but yeah, I could use one.
Yeah, fucking oath. So Willie Swell's going to organise. We're going to get some towels based on the Port Adelaide Magpies League towel. By the way, maybe in the Patreon, if someone would like to buy this towel off me.
I thought you were handing it down to Ted.
Well, probably. If someone wants to pay 10 grand or something, I might get rid of it.
10 grand.
It's very special, and I think we should get 200 Plumbers towels.
Yes.
And you
We
will
should.
use them, and you will use them, and we'll get all the boys using them.
Yep.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Or gather around when you eat a chicken in the hotel room.
That would be
You
chicken
lay
branded
200
200
plus
That's
towel
what it's
down.
all about, because in 15 years,
I
in
would
fact,
not be
it's
putting
20
that thing
years
near your
since I played
face.
with these boys that I'm meeting with tonight. I've still got my Port Adelaide Magpies.
Keep that thing
League
away
towel.
from your face.
It's not a jizz rag. It's anything but. All right? It's got my sweat and tears and my state league games on it, mate. So there's the best tell me something we've had.
Well, on the topic of merch, we actually have some samples
Right?
for some 200 plus merch. So the
What do you got
Patreons
there,
will hear
Drapey?
that
Gee, that beer
first.
tastes delicious. Thank
Here
you.
we go.
What's this?
Oh, is that a new
That
hoodie?
is a nice.
Hang on, crew neck.
Oh, it's a good
beautiful.
crew neck.
That's a nice crewy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That'll
nice.
go well at Mount Buller.
That's good kit. Oh.
That's good kit.
I thought the grey looks good.
That's-
Sean's done well.
Yeah, that's really good.
Goes
Shawnee's
well
done
with your
well.
jeans and your trainers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good size, good fit.
Yeah, you wear it smart casual.
I think we need to start getting a lick of the merch. In the fact that no. I'll put this to Ratface that you boys need to be spruiking the merch, and you get a bit of a deal for each sale.
Absolutely.
I think that's fair.
I used our discount code type influencer job.
Yes, like that.
S Draper 15 for 15%.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Who would sell the most? I'd go
Butts.
hard.
I think butts.
maybe that's.
Yeah.
No, but you boys have got the ability to sell. Anyway,
Anyway.
very good.
Oh, is that all we're doing?
Tell me something for the boys. For the
Just
boys.
put it out there after they
his
tell
own
me something
segment.
else. I've got mail. It's just come to me. So I had one too many melatonins last night. I've been very dopey today, but my brain is starting
The
to
segment within a segment.
work. So after your
favourite.
tell me something, boys, I've got mail. Okay? And it's
Do I
big
play
mail.
the Sting or after?
I want the
confusing
sting
Moff.
after they're done. Sorry, Moff. Sorry, Moff.
Do you want me to go first,
Yes,
Charles,
please.
while
You
you
can
have
go,
a look and
Drapes. Yeah.
think about what you're going to talk about? I've got two things. First thing, I want to talk about Gorney.
Gordy,
just-
what a freak.
Show some appreciation for him.
Yep.
Like, what he's doing is just mental. Like, what do you have? 35 touches, 50 hit-outs, a goal.
Oh,
and he's,
ridiculous.
how old is he? Like,
He's 34.
34, and he's not
He's
slowing down anytime soon. Like, I just think we just need to really appreciate him.
Mate, I think that's a really good call. Do you know I was like a Gorn skeptic till about 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Like Melbourne supporters, I always knew he had like ability and size and, you could tell he could play. But I don't know, it took me a while to become like Team Gorn because I thought, he's not. I'm old school and I'm full of shit. And I was like, he's not mean. I'm not sure if he inspires. Well, he fucking inspires.
Oh, yeah.
And he's mean enough. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And he's marking at both ends. And my mate will know that I was having this discussion with. I was going, hang on, he's not Simon Madden. I judge my big man on presence, and he goes all right, but he's sits behind the ball, and you should take 10 marks when you're uncontested behind the ball. I remember having this conversation. It was probably 8 years ago, to be fair. Well, shit.
He's still doing
I
it.
was wrong. No. Gun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It just took me a little while because I
Yeah.
wanted to see him do it at both ends, and I wanted to see him inspire his team. And since then, they've gone on and won a flag. He never plays. Well, even when he does play a bad game,
He's serviceable
he
still.
bounces back. Gun.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. Our my old ruck coach is the ruck coach there now, Mark Jamar. So
Yes.
he'd be loving
Rush.
that.
The rush.
He would.
Yeah. And my second thing is Chom.
Good Drapes.
A lot of Instagram activity lately, like a lot. And still no update on any sort of tiny little launch or anything like that
And
with
private
Liv.
camping trips. If I was
Collabs
Liv, I'd be
with
filthy.
libraries, fucking all this stuff. Like, can't even get
Very good work on
just
that, Moff.
anything. So, any updates there, or no good content
It's
yet?
coming soon. I'm just waiting for the opportune moment, a good photo. I haven't had a good photo. We're going away to New Zealand
Please.
together.
I'll pick you a couple of good
mid-season,
photos. There's a
so
few
maybe
nice ones
then.
at the beach.
And something else I
I'm
noticed.
not in it.
In Pambula. Sorry.
What the hell?
What?
You can't say that with a towel hanging around your neck.
Beautiful woman.
And the other day you posted a lovely story. I think it was on game day, your lunch pre-game.
Yeah, I had lunch.
Yeah.
What is it?
So you tagged the restaurant, tagged like the chef.
This is on game day.
I tagged Liv as well.
Didn't you tagged Liv, but it was a hidden tag.
Oh my God.
So you couldn't tell who's with her apart from Liv's story. She reshared it.
What are you afraid of?
Not
That
afraid.
someone's going to steal her from you.
No, I'm not afraid.
It's
It's
so
just
I
toxic.
think you're afraid.
like a low profile. I love Liv with all my heart, and I like to keep it to myself.
Oh, it's so toxic.
No, we'll post it when we'll get a good photo in New Zealand or something. No.
Yeah, you haven't got
When are
any
you
good
going to New
ones yet.
Zealand? When are the buys?
It's in a few weeks' time. Yeah, I think 3 or 4 weeks.
It might be snow over there.
Yeah, hopefully.
Ooh,
yeah.
Queenstown.
Be nice.
Drapes and
Queenstown.
I going to Bulla.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Rilla. We'll take that accommodation. We might do a little Q&A just to pay our way. We happy to do that at the bar?
Of course.
Yeah, it's a nice bar.
Yeah.
Benny, you'll come. Moff's away.
Up away.
Yeah.
Nice,
Anyway,
Moff.
we'll do that. We'll do that.
My Tell Me Something is a bit of a gripe with the Melbourne Council, actually.
Oh.
Melbourne City Council.
Melbourne City
We're getting
Council.
political again?
No, we're not
Happy to
going
get
political.
to...
No, we're not going political.
Oh God. Beep that. Beep.
Don't cut it out.
No, we are not going political.
We
This
don't
is,
like
this is oh, for fuck's sake.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Moff.
All right, come back in for me.
Leave it in. Yeah, leave it in.
No, we are not going political. This is the council level issue. I've been parking on Arden Street out the front of the footy club now this is my 6th year of parking there. They are 4-hour car parks. I've been fined maybe twice in my 6 years, and I'm happy to cop that because I park there for about 8 to 9 hours each day. So Melbourne City Council, good on you. However, they are now turning the 2-lane of all Arden Street into 1 lane either side and a bike lane the whole way up. There was already a bike lane there. They've now turned it into one that's got concrete in between it. So it's just a more protected bike lane. But what it's done is decimated all parking on Arden Street. It's created traffic because it was 2 lanes either side. Now it's gone to 1 either side. So there's now traffic the whole time, every time you leave and get to the club. And then Melbourne City Council have the audacity to change the sign. So
This is political.
they've done the whole of Arden Street apart from the section out the front of the club, and they're doing that now. And on Thursday they changed the 4-hour parking signs to no stopping, council only. And obviously no one really knows because it's 6 years we've been parking there. So I go out on Monday. This is the first day everyone's been at the club since they changed the sign without like notifying anyone. And there's maybe 25 cars lined up out the front, and every single one of them had a ticket on it for parking in like the council part. Revenue raising, and they've sent someone out to scam it. So calling out the Melbourne City Council, I'm not paying me rates this quarter.
It's political and criminal.
Yes.
But I like it.
I think it's criminal. That's disgusting behaviour. Absolutely
They've
disgusting.
gone woke.
Riewoldt, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack's here. Well, can
Jack's
I
here.
do my... I've got mail.
Yep. Hold on.
Right. Play the sting, Moff. I've got mail. I've got mail. Hi, mate.
How are you, Jack?
Maybe I'll hold off on the mail. It's fucking good mail, though.
We'll come back to it.
Then we'll come back to it. Righto, we'll get back to my mail later because my guest might like the
it good
mail.
mail?
It's reasonable. Last time I gave out a bit of mail, he
Like
almost
on
got
the punt?
sacked. No, it's footy mail. It's good.
Oh, right.
So we've got a sting,
What
like
do you
when
think of
we-
his sting, Jack? Actually, you walked into that sting.
I've sort of we're steering away from them providing footy mail now because Drapes did it about the Bulldogs
Yeah,
and all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
But when I get it, I can play the sting and give it.
Play on. I enjoyed it. It was a good entrance. I thought it was my sting, but it's good to hear that service.
Mate, great to have you. We've had some good get throughs. We've had Derm on, Mickey Moldhouse on, Matt Hill on.
How good's Hilly?
Matt Hilly was amazing.
Ripper.
How good's Hilly after dark, where you go and have a burger and a couple of beers and the real sort of
He's a rum and coke man.
Oh, he
loves
is.
He's the Ravi Shastri of Altona is how Mark Howard describes him.
Very good.
If you want to spot Matt Hill outside of the race course or working at Fox, just hang around Rockpool on a Tuesday afternoon because he frequently visits there. So, yeah.
little Desi Lake and a Pinot and
I think
bit
he's
of
there for a
mischief at
while
the
too.
Cats.
I think he's there for a
Down
while.
there for a bit of a
Don't
pun
worry.
afterwards.
That bopped me. Going up look at the sale nags afterwards. Well, mate, 3 flags, Coleman medals, just the most fantastic footy career in the end after, and it wasn't all linear for you as well. There's a few challenges across the way, and now to see what you're doing in the media, it's It's great to have you on. I'm pumped. The boys are pumped, and thank you for dropping in.
Well, I think, thank you for having me for starters. I appreciate you shifted the time slightly back 30 minutes for me. I've got 3 young kids, so I had to get them to bed, which was good. And now I'm here doing this. And this all started, I think, maybe because Drapes, we interviewed him on Fox Footy after a win. And the request was, well, we asked the question, who would you have off the panel of Saturday night? So myself, Kath Lachlan, Davey King, and Jay-Z never stood a chance, to be honest. But, and I was selected, so I feel very, very privileged to be here. I haven't caught much of the podcast previously. I just know that Drapes got in trouble once, and that happened on this podcast, so I thought, why not?
I like it.
Thank you for that.
Indeed. How you going? Are you feeling the grind? Round 9, first... Or it might be your second
year out,
in media, but your workload's big now. Hosting your own show, calling games
Thursday nights.
Your Saturday's bloody monstrous.
Yep.
You're on air till 2 a.m. Hilly's getting back from the nightclub when you're still on air. Are you feeling the pinch at all?
A little bit, but it's sort of so a basic work week for me from a Fox point of view is obviously Mondays is couch, so that's a meeting in the morning and then sort of discussions over the day, and then the program runs out at 7:30 live, and then Thursday night footy, which I really bloody enjoy doing, and that's with Davey King as specials with me, and then working with Mark Howard and Matt Hill, 2 absolute legends of just life really, and I've really enjoyed spending the time there. And Saturday is obviously a big day, 12 till 12. Fox only have the footy, or I've had it for the first 8 rounds, but for here in Victoria, where we are now, you can't watch any footy live on a Saturday unless you watch it on Fox, and we steer the ship for the whole day there. So I think we finished at the G after the big game between Collingwood and Geelong at about 12:05 we went off air. And you certainly need a few petrol tickets late. So my coffee intake's gone through the roof.
I like it. One more from me before I hand over to the boys. You are, and this is a fantastic thing, and Dee Brereton is certainly in this category, but you are going to be, with a bit of luck, and you're certainly on route to becoming this, one of those very lucky footballers that never really have a real job. You've got, you had the 15-year odd career, and then as much as there is pressure and there's lights, camera, action, and you're putting yourself out there to have your head kicked off occasionally by punters, you will live that privilege that hopefully you're still doing the TV when you're 65, and then you can just hop off into the sunset without ever picking up a shovel, putting on a suit every day, or any of that sort of stuff.
Well, that might be right. I am a qualified carpenter, so that's
hello.
one thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I did a trade when I was playing with a few other Tigers boys that have played in the flags as well, some younger kids. But I do a couple of other things outside this. I got a logistics business as well, and run another business called Authentic Leaders with with a business partner, and my wife's got a master's in organisational leadership, so she runs that. So we do some corporate work too. So Fox is still my footy fix, but I've got a few things outside of there. But I enjoy doing the footy. You speak about Derm. I just did an LG commercial with Derm. There's a plug for the LG.
Very
got
good.
the QNED TV coming out very soon.
End of financial year.
And it was so funny. Derm's a very funny man to spend time with, and then to commentate with as well. He sees the game through a completely different lens than a lot of other people, and I enjoy that as well. Enjoy listening to him and working with him as well. He's very, very funny, and he's got a lot of stories. I'm sure he told plenty of them on here as well.
We got.
Yes, he did.
He got some good stories.
Did he tell the story about the Ferrari at Cuba?
I have heard it previously. I don't know if we went there. We went to the Harley at Metro.
Yeah, the Harley at Metro is a good one. I remember he told me a story about how he had a Ferrari and he'd just rock up to Cuba and throw the keys at the bouncer and then go inside for 6 hours, come back out and pick it back up again. But
we got that with the motorbike, so must have a few
the
iterations.
motorbike one's brilliant where he just rode it in. So he's always got a great story to him, yeah.
I've got another one on your media. We'll get to it in a bit, but you've had a few run-ins with the media over your football career.
Yeah.
What actually drew you into working in the media post-career?
It's funny. I remember the first time I got asked to do AFL 360 as a player was start of 2016. And I sort of didn't know what to think. They asked me to come into Fox, and I went in and I sat there with Jared and Robbo, and they said why they wanted me to do it, and I was like, fuck, like this is, I've just sort of put a media ban on myself. That was a few years prior to that, and wasn't too far away from here, the train station that I ran to hide from the cameras. But when someone like asks you to do something and gives you a really good reason, they sort of welcome me in really well. So that's sort of why I started doing 360 as it was my first sort of media gig there. And I really haven't left the Fox family since then. I did 7 years as a player, and bloody loved it. And it's good fun just talking about footy, because it can be lost in you a little bit sometimes when you do retire. And I'm one of the fortunate ones that gets to go to the footy, watch it, and watch other teams other than Richmond, and then get to talk about it too.
He's led me in there a bit, and I was going to talk to you about it. You were, you didn't like the media much at all, did you? I said to the boys, I was actually a touch reluctant. Not reluctant, actually, but I never had a relationship with you other than I had 5 years in Adelaide, went from 2014 to 19 and went over there to kind of further my career in a way, and that's when you were coming up. Previous to that, I actually played a VFL game against you in about 07, so I knew you.
Who were you playing for? Because I was playing for Coburg.
I was playing for Geelong.
Okay.
In the twos. Yeah,
Did you play in the grand final?
No, it was emergency. Right. So big Stephen King got my swap.
And then when he played the ones one the week after.
He did. So I made way.
That was a rout out at Princess Park, that grand final.
There you go. So, no, and I knew you coming up, but I swung back into town thinking I had a few runs on the board, in a media sense, sort of swinging a bit of dick. And a few times I just got this look from you, who the fuck are you? And you were back in this day, and this is just when you're coming good. So you'd already won one flag, but I think I came back into 2018. And I've said to the boys, Dusty was the white whale, right? You always have to throw a mic in front of him, but he just gave you nothing. Yeah. And you knew he was going to give you nothing, and it was all part of it. You sometimes... and this is a fantastic thing to be like just experience. You would actually kind of give like, who the fuck are you guys? And occasionally like go and get a real job sort of stuff. So you probably didn't know it at the time. You're just so competitive and you're in that zone, but you had a look of disdain for that stuff. Do you remember being there? Remember me and Sean Salby had to chase you across the road one day, and you would actually, most players would say...
I feel like someone chased me. This is something, I don't know if I ever talked about this. Obviously, the famous one was when I was trying, John Vickery, Tyrone Vickery's dad, who was our boxing coach, but he was supposed to have my car at the back entrance of Punt Road because I'd said something about Damien Hardwick's game plan. It's probably correct, to be honest.
Trying to be like the Hawks.
Yeah, exactly. That was at a Macca's event. So I got chased around and went into but the thing out of the back of that is I came out and kicked 11 the week after I did that.
As you do.
In three quarters as well. I ran out of puff in the last quarter. But door stopping does me. Like I think that's the thing that frustrates me. And there's been a couple of comments that I've said to journos on the way out. I'm just like, piss off and leave us alone. And then sure enough, it comes back through the media department. They're like, mate, what'd you do that for? I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. But I think it's all competition. Like you compete against the oppo and you compete against the media a little bit too. You can see players have a little bit of a disdain for it. I think the big thing is that the broadcast rights are the thing that makes players get talked about earning $1 million, 1.5, potentially $2 million in the next few years. So you have to think of the bigger picture. But sometimes that comes with a bit of age and you start to see the bigger picture and then you start to be paid by them. So you start advocating for them as well. So if I offended you, I apologise.
Nah, you didn't.
Because I feel there's a bone to pick now.
No bone, mate.
No, you were a bit nervous coming into this.
I
I'm not sure if Jack likes me.
No. I didn't say that. I just, guys that were...
Lots of words.
Well, I had been away for 5 years. I didn't have. You tend to get a report, right? If you were still playing there, you probably go, "But fucking leave me alone." I'll give you. Quite often, the boys will go, "Can I just get one so I can fuck off and go and get a coffee?" And they'll give you one on the injury. Yeah. But I didn't have that relationship.
Did you ever get a comment out of Dustin?
No. Well, I think we could. We played a bit. Once I went so hard, and Dusty just given me that much of nothing that I decided to create my own sort of sound up and said, "Hopefully, just tight, mate." And he just put the window up. So it's very happy. So no, Dusty. It's an interesting question. What do you boys think of Dusty? Like,
Yeah, outside
I'm not sure if
views.
you've ever spent any time with him but just played
No,
against him.
I was very happy to go shake his hand after a game. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. That was a cool
Yeah,
moment.
so was I. I've
Yeah.
played against him once. It could have been his last game against us, maybe, or close to it. Just the aura he has is astronomical. And like we see him as this tough guy that doesn't give a lot to the media and is very reserved and keeps to himself, would kind of be my outside picture of him.
Yeah.
So I'm
funny.
interested to see what.
Yeah, well,
he's
he's like I see the outside side of him that other people see, but he's very different. Inside of the club, like it's an element of trust, I think, which I probably don't think he'll ever have the trust of the media.
No, that's fair.
I think to play with him and spend time with him now since he's retired as well. He is a very childlike person, loves to have fun.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Good one-liners.
These guys would have experienced that. Footy clubs are incredible places to grow up in because you learn a lot of lessons, and sometimes you learn a lot of life lessons fast, and there's other lessons that you don't learn until you retire. And you think some of my favourite moments at the Tigers are in summer, blaring the Channel 9 cricket theme, playing indoor cricket for 2 hours while you wait for your gym session to roll around, or photo day, and all you do is just constantly just stuffing around playing games. That's the stuff.
You long for it, yeah.
You miss it once
Yeah,
you retire. Hopefully that's not for a long time for you too, but yeah, so he was the king of that. He loved it, and because you're right, he has so much of aura, or he had so much pull that if he said, "Hey boys, we're going to play cricket," it was like the Pied Piper and every single man, the WhatsApp group would light up. Do you guys have a WhatsApp group? Your players? Is it called any? And does it have a specific name?
Ours are just North Melbourne lads, but there's some pretty rogue stuff that filters through.
Yeah, ours is just Don's 25, I think.
Well, we had the Mill. That was ours. It was called the Mill, and it started on a camp in pre-season camp in sort of say 2015, I think it was. And it was called the rumour mill because when you go on these camps, sometimes corporates come along and they chip in to pay for the camp and whatnot. And Damien Harbert used to keep his cards close to his chest about what we were going to do because he'd always have, he's the king of games. Yeah. So he'd always want to have an amazing race and he'd always want to do something different. So, but they had to tell the corporates what was going on. So the corporates would start to just drop little rumours, and then all of a sudden that's how our club WhatsApp group started and became the Mill. So it was the rumour mill. So that's it's funny how these things happen and these sort of stuff. But yeah.
He's happy now? Is he missing it at all? We won't really hear from him now. You guys will because you've had all those memories. Can you give us a little bit into his life and how he's going?
Yeah, he's playing lots of golf.
Yeah. How does he go as a golfer? I can't picture him as a golfer.
No, he's right into it. I think we played the other day. He's played off 14 or 15, I think. Yeah, but he's he's actually really fit. That's one thing. Right. He just likes training. So I think he's got something planned, going to go to Europe or something like that, because it's the things you don't get to do where, unless you get injured, are you going to go to Europe and do something like that? I feel like that's a good little holiday.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out.
Can you write that into your contract for the back end of this year? You can go to a Greek summer or something like that.
Sun.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's going really well, and I think he's looking forward to travelling a little bit.
Yeah, right.
I want to take you back to your footy days, especially after mentioning Dustin. I think we're probably in a similar position now to what you were in the early days at Richmond. Didn't make finals for 5 years. Can you pinpoint a turning moment for the club, or was there a pre-season camp, or was there something you all bought into as a group that really changed the course, or was it just over time you got better?
Yeah, I was thinking about this in the car on the way in, that I'm really... so I got drafted the same year as Joel Selwood. Now, Joel Selwood played in a flag in 2007 in his first year.
Did.
And I played in Coburg.
Yes.
In a grand final, but Richmond
missed out.
Yeah, Richmond were very unsuccessful, and one of the hardest things to do is break a run of being unsuccessful. But I reflect on my career and to establish and spend time as being, I'm going to say, a shit club, made me really enjoy it when you start to come good. And I hope that's what you two have in front of you at some point, because you'll understand that there's, like, you get in the doldrums a little bit when you finish down the bottom of the ladder, or you want to play finals, or you want to win a final, or you want to try and even break a hoodoo. Like, I didn't play in a winning game against Geelong until 2017, and I was drafted in 2007. And like, you just want to chip away at those little things. But when they happen, and those little firsts start to happen, you really do appreciate it when you have been in an unsuccessful environment. So hopefully for you two, that's ahead of you. I think in terms of pivotal moments, I reckon there's natural progression, and that's just getting talent into your list, and you start to go a little bit better. And for us, Damien's first couple of years, we struggled. We got a few good guys in, and then we played finals in 2013, 14 and 15, and that was just because we naturally got a little bit better and we started to get 100 games into guys that were first-round draft picks. But the big turning point for us was the end of 2016. So played finals those 3 years, had a shitful year 2016, a few injuries, but we went and got 3 really important players. We went and got Toby, Nankervis, Dion Prestia and Josh Caddy. And our biggest turning point was not so much on the field, or it didn't start on the field, it started off the field with embracing imperfection. And this is the hardest thing about breaking a hoodoo at a club that's been unsuccessful, and Richmond's a big club, like you see now they have about 100,000 members, is there's this history that is hard to defeat. And it's hard because it's the monkey on the back of who you are, and that can be a small amount of history if you haven't been successful for a long point of time, and that's probably what you said at that moment, Charlie, and trying to break that hoodoo of making your way up the ladder. There's the history of not playing in finals or a winning final for 20 years, and like how many years of that 20 have you played?
Yeah, 8 years have been on
8
this.
years,
Yeah.
so it's not really your history. And for us, it was the 37 years of not playing in a premiership, and there is a point in time where the fans start to just constantly relive the glory days rather than living in the present.
You're copping that a bit at the moment.
Of what it is, and it's really bloody hard, because they'd go back and go, oh, what about Carey and 96 on 2000?
96,
99.
99, sorry. They played in a premiership, like, and then they roll them out on an occasion, so it would have been 25 years last year. They roll out the 99 premiership team, 25-year hoodoo, and it's there staring you in the face. And all you want to do is be successful and take control of your own footy club. But history is the greatest weight as an AFL player, I think. And to break that, we needed to basically stuff history. There's a great Socceroos ad when they made the first World Cup after a while. And Nike did an ad, and it had stuff history. It was the history was sitting in the grandstand, and then Mark Bresciano is heckling the Socceroos, and then Mark Bresciano kicks the ball at him. It comes up stuff history, and I love it because history is just that. It has nothing to do with the future, and that's all we focused on in the start of 2017. It's the fact that the only people that can control what happens in this group are literally right in this room. Don't try and be Kane Johnson, Kevin Bartlett, Matthew Richardson, Darren Gasper, all these great names that have played for Richmond in the past. Be who you are. And even to the point where you look at the way we played and the team that we picked in 2017, or the team that we ended up picking, is we played one key forward, we played a whole bunch of smalls that just tackled, and all of a sudden you change the game. Yeah. So I think there's a whole bit in there, and there's a bit of a spiel, sorry, but
that was a good
but it's important to understand that. I mean, how long have you been at North Melbourne for? 4 years?
This is my
Sixth year. Like, everything that happened before that is irrelevant. It's just living in the present now.
So when you said, and I know you're not meaning to pot the guys that were before you, when you said we were a shit club, is there something you can pinpoint now that you've been out of it and you've won the flags and the dust has settled, and go, if I could, in your new role even as for culture at Tasmania, get this right? Like, is there something that was wrong? Or are you just saying that it was that burden of history that was weighing you down more as individual players?
I think it's a bit of a burden of history. I think any organisation, whether it be footy, whether it be shirt, like white collar, blue collar, whatever it is, you have to have a strengths-based organisation, and every great organisation is built off trust, and that's trust can be gained and garnished however you want. A lot of the time, it's through spending time together and actually getting to understand the people that are in your business. Because without trust, you can't have conflict.
Yeah.
And people think conflict can always is bad, but conflict is actually very good. And football clubs are really good places to get it right, because you never want everyone agreeing on the way forward, because you're never then honing what you're doing. So you're constantly tinkering at your game plan. Like the way you play in round 1 is nothing like the way you'll be playing in round 23, or if you're lucky enough to get to grand final day, because you just constantly have to evolve. And I reckon that's where clubs get caught out, is they have a really good year and they don't evolve. And 2018 was that for us. Like we won the flag in 2017. We were unstoppable in 2018. And for the last 6 weeks, we hardly got challenged. And then 2018 prelim,
Get knocked off.
we got knocked off because we hadn't evolved. And that's one of the great life lessons, I think, for Richmond players, is that was a step backwards, but potentially not a step in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Because you need a bit of a kick up the arse, and then obviously you win 2019, 2020. But if you didn't get that kick in the arse in 2018, or you don't react to it the right way, do you then go and change up a whole bunch of things? Like we went and got Tom Lynch, who's a handy player, and pretty much got us through to the grand final in 2019. But yeah, that's what this is about. It's constantly evolving. That's why the really good clubs that evolve constantly are always at the top. So Geelong, they're always there because they're so good at it.
Quick one on, you mentioned kick up the arse, right? And your career, so you were highly, this is from my point of view, you're highly rated, and then you, after a year or two, and when Richo went, you sort of took to league footy like a duck to water. Then the Potters came a bit, said, oh, you're a bit selfish, it's all me, and you kicked a big bag of goals. But I can remember commentators giving it to you a little bit Corns-like. You were the whipping boy for a while. By the end of the career, you were ultimate team man. Who got to you? Was that feedback from teammates? Was that self-driven? Were you all those knockers that might have said he's an old full forward, it's a little bit too much about Jack? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was and it's probably bullshit, but there was that perception.
Yeah.
But you'd silenced every one of them by the end of your career. How'd you do that?
I think so. I got drafted with a guy called Shane Edwards, who played 300 games for the Tigers as well. And if Shane told me something, I really listened, because I valued him. He's one of my best mates when I was playing footy, because I did he did 16 years and I did 17. And he gave me some feedback after we played North Melbourne in Hobart, actually, of all places. And I was going home. So I'm from Bellerive. I played my first ever game of senior footy at Bellerive when I was 15 years of age for Clarence at the Blunston at the beach end. That was where I kicked my first ever goal from the pocket. So you go home, and not many guys ever get the opportunity to play on their junior ground playing an AFL game. So I went back and I was like, I just want to play well in front of Tassie, in front of my family, in front of all that. And I played probably the most selfish game I've ever played. And came back, we lost. I'd kicked 4 or 5 goals, I think.
What year is this?
2016, I'm going to say, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Maybe 2016, I think. And I remember sitting in the GER room, the Graham Richmond room, the meeting room at Punt Road, and it was Brett Delidio, Trent and Shane. It was Brett, Alex, Rance and Shane. And they just said to me, this is not sustainable going forward for how you're playing and what you're doing for the team. And when you're a key forward, sometimes your attitude is, we've got to win this game. Like I have to kick 8. Yeah. Or you start to get behind. It's like, I'm just going to kick the next 2 or 3 just to really get us back in the game. Yeah. And it's funny, like you start to think like that, and sometimes it happens, but the majority of the time it's about actually helping kick 8 or helping kick the next 3. So I got that feedback. Shane's feedback really hit home with me. And then when you start to flip your culture around and you are constantly focusing on strengths, like the reward piece, it's like giving a dog a biscuit and telling it to sit. Like you constantly just going, reward the behaviours you want, and all of a sudden filters down. It's not just the coach and the leaders that are constantly rewarding the behaviours. You hit Narnia when the first year player comes in and just goes, "Oh, Dustin, I saw that. Like, I love that."
Yeah, right.
Like, and that's the cycle of culture. That's a cycle of good organisation. That's a cycle of a good footy club.
Yeah.
Because once I started to get the feedback, it becomes like a feeding frenzy. Is like you're always constantly looking to give someone else a really good bit of feedback to say, well, hey, I saw that and you did that.
So did it manifest for you that you started creating space for others, and like how did it come into your game that I don't have to kick 8? It's not all about me kicking 6.
Probably just started to just open my vision a little bit more and be a bit smarter with the ball. Like, I'm not a very fast player, but I got a pretty good footy craft. Like,
Shit, yeah, you
I was, like, I feel like my IQ was probably the thing that made me the player I was. It's just reframing how you use IQ, and then the commentary starts to turn around, and all of a sudden one person writes a good article about you, and then it's snowball effects because it opens people's eyes to, oh, actually, you know what, that is a different perspective to look at that. Like, turns on the side and kicks around the corner from 40 metres, and everyone's like, oh, that's the worst thing in the world.
Now he's a hero.
No, and all of a
Everyone
sudden,
should
and
be
all of a
doing
sudden
it.
it's like, oh, no, that makes sense. Like, it actually does make sense, because you can really only miss it one way if you're going to snap around the corner. But then someone goes, no, I like that. And then all of a sudden, they goes, yeah, actually, you know what, it's working now. So then all of a sudden it rolls, and your coach backed you in on that comment as well. And then it starts to roll. And it's like, hey, this is great. How good is that? There's a ruckman that can go forward and kick around the corner and has a set routine that he loves. And I'm sure there's kids now at Auskick that are going, fuck, that's actually how I want to do it.
Yeah, I was down there, 4-year-old Auskick. There was kids snapping.
Yeah.
Pre-drop punt, not hold the ears, kick
So
the
it's
chin.
it's exactly the same.
Hold it on the plate.
Exactly the same. There is a great saying, and I would give you guys the best recommendation to read a book by the I'm just trying to think of what it's called. It's got it's a book about the New Zealand All Blacks.
Is it the Clean the Sheds one, is it?
It's got Sweep the Sheds in it, yeah. And there's a comment in it. There's two really good comments. There's one that's pretty simple, is leaders lead. So if you don't like something, do the behaviour that you want people to see. And the other one is great ancestors plant trees they'll never see grow.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is
The old
so
Greek saying.
important. Yeah. And that's a good one for older players at unsuccessful clubs or haven't seen the success, is shift your focus from actually trying to make yourself a premiership player and actually place it on maybe the kid that's just been drafted, Finn O'Sullivan or Isaac Kako. It's like, well, shit, I just want to give them the best chance to win a premiership. And that's pure team in my eyes.
So you sound pretty passionate about leadership. When did that start to kick in your career?
It's 2017, I reckon. We had a guy called Shane McCurry come to our footy club, and he was a leadership coordinator who'd worked at the AFL. He'd done some work at North Melbourne in the Pagan era, and had come from Cotton On, and he came and completely changed our ideal of what leadership was like. And what culture was, and unashamedly, Shane is my absolute hero and has had a huge influence on my life and what I enjoy doing. But he pre-2017 grand final, the chaos of the whole week and what it is, and like once we won the prelim, the temporary fencing just got erected up around our footy club and created this sort of like Vatican City style, another country really, where people just couldn't get in, and we were just driving in and out, and they were trying to keep obviously the fans at bay a little bit whilst giving them the enjoyment of the week, and trying to keep it as similar for us. And we did a whole bunch of things. You go through the parade, you do all that sort of jazz, and the last session that we ever did before we went out to play was Shane got us down into the old Richmond rooms there. So there's obviously the new facility, but there's the old derelict sort of brick rooms, old change rooms there. And
That had all the bird shit in them.
I had no possum shit.
Possum shit
was in there, yeah. Not possum shit. And we walk in and he's like, right, we're just going to finish up for before you guys go home and you come back tomorrow for captain's run, we're going to finish up with one culture session. We're called Richmond Man sessions. We went down there and this guy called Booba from African Drumming was standing there with the biggest grin on his face of all time. And he had 50 of these Congo drums set up around this room, and players, staff all just literally sat down and played these bongo drums for 45 minutes.
Fucking weird.
And it was awesome because it's like when you get everyone playing to the same beat of a drum or this rhythm, which was, if you think about the way Richmond's defense especially played, it was so built off just rhythm. The analogy of if the traffic lights on defense and the traffic light goes green, everyone just floor it at the same time and you'll be right.
Yeah.
Because you sit at traffic lights now, one person goes, the next person goes. If everyone just hits the accelerator at the same time, we'll all be good and we'll just all get off to a start together. And that's how our defense sort of worked in terms of trading up. And we constantly talking about rhythm, and Shane came up with this idea of playing the drums, and it was so much fun. We literally stayed there
day before?
banging the drums, 2 days out, banging the drums, banging the drums. And they're the sort of moment that's an example of. That is the last thing you'd think an AFL club would be doing leading into
2 days before.
hopefully breaking a 37-year drought. So
That's almost as good as Happy Hammond in the old Geelong. Wolfer Davis brought in the...
Bit before our time.
yeah.
It's the second
all
best
looked
one
with
I've
you.
heard.
Yeah.
The piano accordion.
Yeah.
To relax the Geelong players in the...
yeah,
I think it was
there's a good
the
one about
60s.
Lee Matthews as well. Brownie was telling me that they got to the top of the stage. They got to the top of the race as they were about to go out, and Lee was a very straight shooter, Lee. And he turned around and he sensed that everyone was a bit on edge. And he goes, "Hey boys, don't worry about today. I love you."
Yeah, love
And they went out and they won. And it's just like that's the art of coaching, and it's the art of working at a footy club, is that you've got to have a kit bag and you've got to be able to pull tricks out of it to just get the best out of the group. And storytelling is such an important thing in the world that we've all lived in. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I've got another one.
Hang on, before you do that, I'm going to be late to my Port Adelaide Magpies reunion. Can I just ring in my steak? I was going, any other guests,
Yeah.
Jack, I probably would have said, "Fuck off, boys, you just do this."
Yeah.
But I hung around. The boys, I'm already late. I just want to order my steak because I was supposed to catch up with these blokes during COVID. I'm very sorry to do this.
What's your order?
It's down south, so it's at a Squire's Loft, and I just want a porterhouse and no seasoning. I've got a bit of an onion garlic issue.
Yeah, right.
So just bear with me for 1 sec here, Jack. Sorry, mate. I'm getting ETA texts and all sorts of shit. Hang on 1 sec.
We're a professional institution.
are.
In
No, I
India.
love this. This is a cowboy life. It's very good.
Sorry, Jack. That was honestly.
No, that's
I would have
fine.
taken
Leave
off
that
early.
in too. That's good. Leave that
Oh, you
in.
got staying in.
That's
Yeah,
what it's.
hey.
You'll be doing that.
Squire's Loft. There's a
There you
sponsorship.
go.
There you go.
Down
Right.
Cheltenham Way. Have you had your first reunion yet?
No. Oh,
Shit,
no.
that's
We
gonna be
have.
good.
We have a little bit actually. We had one grand final week last year actually.
Jeez, it's going to be sweet for you.
Sean Grigg will be organising that. He might even be a senior coach at that point in time. So, but he was our footy trip organiser. Sean
Yes,
Grigg.
what a good, important role that is.
Such an important role. And there's another bit of advice for any AFL club out there. You have to have a footy trip. Just make sure it's well organised. They are some of the great days that bring people together.
Best trip?
We went to Hong Kong after
Ooh, yeah.
2017.
Hello. Not like the Bulldogs rocking cars and that.
No, it wasn't.
Happy
It wasn't
Valley?
like that. We landed and went straight to Happy Valley.
Oh, good. Triple trio.
It was so much fun. It was just like we got a security detail because we were the champions of the world.
Yes, the champions
they
of the
thought
world.
it was the greatest thing of all time. But no, Hong Kong was very fun in 2017. I'm not sure what it's like now, but
They'd still be right.
it's
The race is still good.
You guys used to do fundraisers for the footy trips? Is that
yeah,
right?
we have a comedy day. They used to have a comedy day. I'm not sure. I think it was a bit more rigged back in the day. The old North Melbourne car raffle was one of the ones that I think might have fallen a certain way every
give it
now
away.
and then. But still enter. You never know. You've got to be in it to win it. That's what I say, isn't it?
Very good. Hey, the one I want to get to you, and I'm sure this will be on your when you go and do the Sportos or whatever, but as far as, you're going to be known for singing with the Killers and kicking five in grannies and, being riding shotgun at Dusty, you crawling up the race is probably something we'll never see again. And I said your career wasn't linear. You had a few moments.
Yeah.
How do you look back on that now and will probably never happen again because you'd be subbed out.
Yeah.
But geez, it was amazing when you were crawling and you're like a little kid.
Yeah. So
do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You come up looking dazed and confused.
Yeah.
Greg Hickey was trying to pull you back in.
Exactly. There you go. So it's it's one of the great disappointments of my life that I didn't trademark that footage because that gets used constantly for the AFL concussion protocols.
All the time.
And I get no image rights off that as well, which is really disappointing. But look, the way I look at it in that game is knocked out, went downstairs. Greg was like, I don't think you can go back home. I'm like, mate, come on. And it comes back to the point of probably me thinking, fuck, I need to play for us to win.
Yeah.
So in a confused, concussed state, like I reckon it really just went through the roof. I was like, no, I need to fucking go out there and play. So some of the footage that doesn't get played is that at quarter time, mate, I was out there running around, kicking the footy with a run arm and like, hey, look at me, I'm right. Like all that sort of stuff. Clearly I wasn't. That game was a draw. So if I did play, maybe we might have won. The week after though, I played the week after against Hawthorn and Brian.
Just changed a lot, isn't it?
Brian Lake, or Harris, however you like, took me to the absolute cleaners. And I came off and gave the Hawthorn bench the bird. And I got $1,500 for that. And that was, 12, 15 years ago. And blokes are doing it now and getting a slap on the wrist.
Didn't Watson get 6 or something?
Did he get 60?
No,
He got
grand.
Oh, okay,
Grand.
yeah.
6 grand.
No, 1,000. But back then,
Yeah.
That's
it's gone down. It's like assistant coaches' wages.
It's great.
trendsetter.
So no, it's all in jest now. I think I'm okay.
You've played with a lot.
Find out.
You've played with a lot of people over your career.
Yeah.
We've got Adam Patterson in here. At
Oh
Sports now,
yeah,
and
he texted me too. He said he was the GM here. Is that right?
he's close to it. I mean, he's going to take it over.
Getting us a couple more sponsors wouldn't hurt old Paddo. Less shit footy stories, more
he's
deals.
in charge of
please.
marketing, and we're nearly going under.
He's going well.
What was he like as a player? You got any dirt on Paddo?
I tell you what, Paddo was one of the greatest clubmen of all time.
I could imagine.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Absolute flop of a pick. I think they picked him in the first round, Paddo, along with 4 other guys. I think they had 5 first-round picks that year, Richmond. They managed to, they got Delidio and I think Tambling was a pass as well. But Paddo went south. But he was great fun, welcoming, and I think he's found a good niche here. He's a very funny man.
He is.
Very, very funny man.
Yeah, good storyteller.
Yeah, I think we traded him to St Kilda for a pack of chips or something.
He played about 15 clubs. He couldn't get out.
Yeah.
These boys said earlier, we were reminiscing about the 4 years we've had on this show, and I didn't know this, but we had a live show last year, sold out at a pub in Brunswick, 350. Right? We did all right. It was heaving. And these two, unless you were bullshitting, said he was more nervous for that than before his first game of league footy.
No, it really was.
There you go.
Why?
Well, I think it was the fact I didn't believe how big the scale was. I'd actually organised it, and I remember talking to the managing director here about putting on this live show, and I said, I want to do a live show. I've got a pub my cousin runs that we might be able to get in on. And he said, yeah, you'll be lucky to get 50 people. And I said, all right, put the tickets up. It was originally meant to be in a little small room with a stage and whatnot, and 50 would have been all right. We would have had devote members. We couldn't really bomb because they want to see us. Yeah. They want to see us talk a bit of filth and whatnot. I think we sold 120 tickets in the first day, and it kept going and going. I was like, geez, we're going to have to get
Was
the
this
beer
before
garden.
Drapes had said that stuff or after? After. Now I know why. Now I know why he said it too well.
It was a payday.
Good cash. But I walked out, when we walked into the pub, the line went down the street, and I was like, geez, like all this pressure to kind of, our podcast is meant to be, it's comedic footy talk, bit of boys banter, that type of thing. And I've really felt the pressure to be funny and tell jokes and have banter with these boys in front of such a big audience. I was definitely more nervous for that performance than I was footy.
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
Footy's more natural.
Yeah.
Which brings me to you. So you've been chucked in the deep end big time with hosting
Couch.
a 30-year-old show.
Yeah.
And I reckon you're starting to feel it, and doing it your own way. Is it fair to say first couple I reckon you were feeling it out and you're probably doing it the way they done it, burden of history.
Yeah.
I watched and not that I take a huge sort of interest I just watch the show because I watch the show and I'm like, fuck, you're getting comfortable.
Yeah.
Shortening it, getting straight to the boys.
Yeah.
How did you find that experience to be, of course, it's going to take 3 years maybe.
Yeah.
And you've just been heaved in there.
Yeah. So I think with these sort of things, like, and I hope you guys do another live one, because you'll look back on the first one and go, God, that was dog shit. Like,
you have to.
And if you're not looking back on, and I'm sure you look back on your first podcast and go, fuck, that was absolutely crap. like seriously, what were we thinking? And that's the way I look at Couch, is that every single week I learn something new, whether that's how to, like, my early crosses to Ralphie were borderline like mumble. Like, and let's head to a man who's been in the AFL hallways today. John Ralphie, what have you got for us? And it's like, and then the producer will be like, hey, that's not how you got to do it. You got to do it like this way and do it in your own tone. The other thing that happened with Couch is, we've got a new producer on Couch as well. So I sort of like got to choose who I'd like to produce the show and help me. And I worked with a guy called Anthony Bitsalis, who does a lot of the really good promos and stuff, and has worked on 360 and AFL games. He's a little bit younger than me, and it was like, if this show's going to change, Geordie's coming on board. It is a bit of a younger feel. Like, it'd be really great to have him on board, and he's been unbelievable
He's a
as
good
well.
act.
Yeah. He's a really good, well-versed producer. And I mean, we just spit the facts out and come up with a few of the ideas. The people behind the production, got a couple of them sitting in the room here today behind this production as well. They make the gold. Like, there's so many people at Fox that you will never ever see. Floor managers, cameramen. Like, they are the absolute lifeblood of the joint. And without that, we don't get to see the great product that we see on TV. And we're so fortunate that we've got so many good people at Fox.
Did you seek out anyone? I know my wife gets into me about this and says, why haven't you called? I love Sandy Roberts. I called the footy. I loved there was a little bit of devilish sort of nature to him.
Dick.
I loved all that, and knocking around with EJ and that. And he's the one and he's getting older now. And
So why haven't you called?
Well, I haven't. I've probably shut myself, to be honest. I've got his number from
You should
Jennifer
do that this
Kite.
week.
Yeah. And I'm saying, do you have someone that you just lean on?
Can
Gary
we text
Lyon?
him right now?
Well, could we do that a bit on this show?
Give him a call, but
It might be a bit late for Sandals, but no, I will do it. Your cousin knows him well.
Yeah.
Started calling the footy with him. Do you go to Jared or Gary and
I went
say,
to Jared and Gary.
There you go.
And spoke to them.
Love hearing that.
I went to Gary's got a farm, beautiful farm down the coast here, and which went and talked absolute crap with him for 2 hours, rode around on his gator and had a look at his property and just talked about it. And that was great. It was really good to hear how he thought the show could evolve. Gave me a few tips and tricks. Jared's very much the fundamentals of just what sports production is all about. But I listen to sort of everyone, even like I've got a couple of mates in Tassie that do a bit of media as well, and I bounce stuff off them. And I'm like, what do you think about this for a lead, or what do you think about this for this sort of angle on it? And then internally within the show, like, it's not like Geordie and I are new. Geordie's very good at his job, like very, very good at his job. And then I've got Bucks and Brownie that have been around for a while, and you can see Bucks as a coach because he's constantly going, hey, that was really good. Or hey, think about asking me this and all that sort of stuff. So, it's sometimes there's a lot of information, so it's just sifting through it, much as there is information at assistant coaches about goal kicking of all things, and everyone's got a way to do it. And it's like, well, figuring out who the right person is to listen to, and if the right person in the room isn't there, go and find them.
No, good attitude.
Hey, you need to text Sandy.
Yeah, you
That's
get me in the pangs now. I better do it. Because
why wouldn't you do it?
Oh no, to be honest, 2 young kids. I do have a couple of other people I talk to, but in the media it can be a bit lonely. You'll get potted by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Other people piss in your pocket and say you're going all right, but do they really think that?
Yeah.
He's one, and you've got to pick someone who's a little bit like you. Rex Hunt's the other one, who has always been great to me.
Yeah.
But Sandy, no, I should do it. I will do it.
Good.
I'll report in next time I see you walking
good.
across Adelaide Oval Bridge or something.
I look forward to that.
So we have a exclusive membership here with our top fans, and some of them asked some questions.
Oh, yes,
so
great.
One of them wants to know what's the best sledge you've ever rolled out on the footy field. I reckon I've had been to play against you a couple of times. You've been pretty good on the lips. I
was okay on the lip, but I like. Oh God, I'll tell you the most brutal one I ever heard, and I didn't say it, but Do you remember Kyle Reimers, who played for Essendon?
Kicked 8 one game.
I think he might have kicked 9 actually. It was against Gold Coast at Marvel Stadium.
That's it.
And he had about 7.
Someone was
half-time, I reckon.
recounting this at our club the other day. It could have been. I can't remember.
He was an early bright boot wearer.
Yeah,
too.
very early, very early. He would fit very well into this generation
He
of
would.
celebrators. And poor Kyle, who was like I think 19, had a bit of acne. And Nathan Brown, who played for us, asked him if he exfoliated with a cheese grater. That was brutal.
harsh. It's
And I was like, oh my god, that is too far.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Just need a bit of the old proactive. That cleans it up a bit.
No, but he was a good player, Remus. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would fit very nicely into the modern day generation.
Do you remember when we played that game up in Darwin?
Was that Dreamtime in Darwin?
Yeah.
What did I say to you?
Nah, not to me. I think you and Guelphy had a bit of a run.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And then Hurley and Lynch Lynch punched him in the face pretty much in the game.
Lynch punched you in the face.
No, Hurls in the face.
Hurls in the face.
And then we're all, because one side of the plane was Richmond, one side Essendon. And then
Oh my god, wasn't that awkward?
yeah, it was so awkward. And Hurls was sat at the front and then like there, and then Lynch was next to him, and he's like, "Can we swap?" And I swapped out with Hurls, so we didn't have to sit next to him the whole flight. But
How bizarre was that Dreamtime in Darwin as well? Do you remember the guy? There was the Welcome to Country is one of the greatest ones we've ever had. They got an Aboriginal elder up there that's only got one arm, and he gave the Welcome to Country. And then he was
we've
just,
had him as
and it
well,
was
yeah.
pumping. Like he was like, "In your mob, welcome in." And it's like that was one that, like in terms of experiences, playing up the top end. If you ever get a chance to travel there, if you're lucky enough to play footy out there, it is incredible.
Yeah.
They love football.
it was sick. We couldn't leave the stadium because the bus was mobbed.
Yeah.
They were just trying to high five everyone.
Yeah.
Like it was just having so much fun.
Yeah.
Get them
Yeah.
a team up there, I reckon.
Yeah, well, that's the
That'll
20th
happen.
license. Should be good, I reckon. Yeah.
More Patreons. They're good questions.
Yeah.
Someone asked, do you actually remember getting on stage with the Killers?
Yeah, so I do. A funny story is this is my my wife Carly was the only other person that followed out with the AFL. So I got sort of chaperoned out with the AFL, come up behind out of the change rooms, and the stage was facing sort of south towards that Shane Warne stand as it is now. And she sat as I was walking up the stage, she sat on a little black box on the side, sort of she had a good view of what was going on. And this roadie came over and was like, "Hey, you need to get off that." And she's like, "Oh, sorry." And she's like, "I'm just here." And she's like, "No, get off that." And she got off that. I walk on stage. The fucking box opens and fireworks just go like that. So she was sitting on the fireworks. So I could have been having the greatest time of my life. Next thing you know, my wife's on fire. Thank God she moved. But I can remember it. My name was phonetically written on the floor so that Brandon Flowers didn't screw it up too much.
Like an
And
idiot
he looked
sheet.
at it, he's like, "Yep, Jack Riewoldt." Like, cool, we got that right. But it was incredible fun. There's a few Tigers boys that had played VFL that were down on sort of the right-hand side. I remember seeing Taylor Hunt, Sean Hampson, the two of the faces that I saw there. And none of the other boys knew that I'd done it because they'd sort of shuffled everyone around underneath the G of the bows there. And they were coming up the old Richmond rooms where the umpires come up now.
Yeah.
So they were all down there oblivious to the fact that I was up on stage singing with the Killers. And I came down like, "Where have you been?" I was like, "Man, I was just on stage with the Killers." Shut the fuck up. You weren't. I was like, "Yeah, I was."
Have you always been a tune belter outerer? Like we belt out a tune most weeks here.
Yeah,
Like, has that always been you karaoke man or in the showers and that?
No, every now and then I don't mind singing a song, but that one actually started a year beforehand. I went and watched the Bulldogs play a game and Bulldogs play Sydney, in the grand final with a mate of mine, and he said, if you ever win a grand final, surely you just get up on stage with the post game entertainment. And then a week out from when we beat the Giants, he goes, "Odds you on stage with the Killers next week," and I was like, "That's happening." There you go.
Nikki Milady got it done, didn't she?
Yeah, she was the one. She
Good on
worked
Nick.
it. Yeah, she worked the magic.
There you go.
So when before the game, you said if we win.
Yeah, on the Wednesday.
Wow.
I'd said.
Surely that has to go through their people.
Well, I had to go through Michael Gudinski because I was just thinking, hey, you
What
win
a
a grand
guru.
final, you just literally do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
And I knew Michael Gudinski, and he goes, "Mate, you really want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yep, all right, cool, no stress." He was the touring, in charge of the touring party, and he said we can make it happen, and the rest is really history. Yeah.
Wasn't the worst performance either.
Nah, it wasn't.
You were solid.
It wasn't. I think they turned my mic off. If you go back and listen to the YouTube, not saying that I've done it, but I reckon for the first 10 seconds I'm on and then it's fucking cuts it out. He's had his chance. Get him off.
Mate, thanks for dropping by.
Nah,
I really
thank you for having
appreciate
me.
it.
I
Fuck, they're
appreciate
good
it.
stories. Your leadership stuff had us. It was a
Yeah.
real pin drop. There was no. Normally we have to make dick jokes and stuff because it gets a bit boring, but not with you, mate. So really
We've
appreciate
actually got
it.
you a gift on behalf of our sponsors,
wow.
Old Wine. So there's a 200 plus hat there, which obviously
mint.
you're not that interested in. You would grab straight for the
He
wine.
played with presents.
But we
Yes.
we have these
Good craft,
two beautiful bottles. I think we've got a Shiraz and something else there from the Barossa, courtesy of Old Wines over in Adelaide.
Are these a sponsor, are they?
Yes, they
they're
are.
Did we
nice little
visit them
sponsor
when
of us.
we were at Gather Round?
No,
might
we
be a
didn't.
bit of a
Yeah,
while
we
back.
went for a visit.
Next time we can go see him.
I reckon you guys should do a podcast in Gather Round at Old Wines. That would be
That
old,
would go
sorry.
off, wouldn't it?
Whereabouts in the
Barossa.
The Barossa, yeah.
Right near the deck,
Damn it,
actually.
I reckon. Why don't we petition the AFL right now to have North play Essendon in the Barossa, which I think they're
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
We did
there's a
this year, Chris.
Tanunda.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
I'd love to
nice
see
good
that.
town.
Yeah.
We'll get that across the line. We'll do a potty
that.
pre-game.
We'll make a heap of coin again and $3.50 in there, $40
Chop her
ticket. Happy days. Amazing, mate. Thank you.
Nah, thanks for
We
having me.
didn't get round to my mail. Do we hold it? Or do we?
Oh,
no,
can I
play
hear
the
it?
sting.
Can I hear it?
Yeah, righto, go. Righto.
Jesus.
Yes. I've got mail. I've got mail. I've got mail for you. Thank you. One of my finest.
Where have you ripped that from? Is that Blue's Clues or something?
I don't know.
Close and Pat.
Just it was off the bat. Jamara Ugelhagen, right? Now, forgive me. I've been busy with the kids in the last 24 hours. I've caught up with your show and a couple of others, but I haven't heard every word that every flog journo's got about Jamara. So, has there been any mail about where he could end up next year?
Well, I heard Sydney.
Fuck, that was Take the sting off, Mum. Shit. Oh, brilliant. Oh, should have gone earlier.
Under a rock.
Oh, he's good, see?
Under a
I mean,
rock.
not like you blokes, just it's all fucking noise. I don't listen, he's into it. No. My mail is the Swans right into him, couple of mentors up there in Mickey-O and Goodsy already.
Not just your mail, but everyone else's
helping him
too.
through. Pretty confident they'll get him on the right track and he may well end up at the Swans next year.
Wow, look out.
Anyway, but
That's
that was
strong.
good until you just fucked it right up.
Well, should we, on that note,
yes,
should we
quickly,
sing
because
out?
I've got to get to the
Yeah,
Port
we're going
Adelaide
to do the karaoke
reunion.
version.
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. Started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss, it was only a kiss. Now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while she's having a smoke and she's taking a drag. Now they're going to bed and my stomach is sick and it's all in my head, but she's touching his chest. Now he takes off her dress. Now let me go.
Bit low, everyone,
Here
but
we
it's
go.
okay.
Give it some.
I just can't look, it's killing me. They're taking control.
Give me some butts.
Go, Jack.
Jealousy turning saints into the sea, swimming through sick lullabies,
Go, Jack.
choking on your alibis.
But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me.
Open up my eager eyes, 'cause I'm Mr. Brightside.
Fucking yes. Very good, not bashful. On your plumbers.
Oh, shit.
Oh dear.